Hey there, soccer fans. Welcome back to House on the Pitch. I'm your host, Tom House, and today we're wrapping up our special series covering all the MLS teams across the league. Today, on this last episode, we're diving into the southern region as well as a couple clubs in Canada, talking about the incredible MLS teams that have made their mark on the league. We've got the history, the drama, the rivalry, and of course, the stars. We'll be talking about Orlando City FC, Charlotte FC, Nashville FC, Atlanta United FC, Toronto FC, and CF Montreal. So whether you're a diehard fan or just getting into the game, stick around. We'll chat about everything from their traditions to what they got lined up for 2025. If you have any questions or comments, email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Now lace up your boots and let's take the pitch. Alright, first up, let's talk about Orlando City SC. This team brings so much energy and flair to MLS, and their journey is nothing short of impressive. They were founded in 2010, and they made a jump to the MLS in 2015. Now, since then, they've been making waves, reaching the playoffs several times, even clinching the US Open Cup in 2022. That was their first major trophy, and it really showed that they're a team on the rise. Orlando itself is a pretty unique soccer city. It's known for the theme parks, the sunny weather, and a growing sports culture that makes it such a cool place for this team, for a team like Orlando to be in, for Orlando City soccer. The soccer in the Sunshine State, it just works. They've really embraced the city's energy, and the fans have rallied behind them in a really big way. Now, when it comes to the leadership, the head coach for the 2025 season is Oscar Perea. He's been with the team for a few years now, and he's known for playing an attacking style of soccer. It's a lot of high pressure and fast transitions and really going after goals. That's exactly what Orlando City needs, and Perea at the helm, they'll go really far doing what they're doing. As for the ownership now in Orlando City, it's owned by a group that includes Flavio Augusto da Silva. He's a Brazilian entrepreneur who really took the reins and brought the team to MLS. The ownership group's been focused on building a strong foundation for the team and growing that fan base. That commitment is really paying off as the team continues to get more and more competitive. Now looking into the star players of the team, one of the biggest is Facundo Torres, the Uruguayan winger. He's got the flair, the creativity, and the ability to make things happen on the field. Then there's the captain, Mauricio Perea. He's been a key playmaker for the team. His vision, passing, the ability really set him apart in the midfield. You also got players like Eric Cara up front, who's been doing a great job in doing things on the attack. These guys are the backbone of Orlando City's squad, and they got some skills to make that happen and make it happen in 2025. Moving on to the stadium, so the home turf, it's Exploria Stadium. The place is really a gem. It's smack dab in the middle of downtown Orlando, so another one of those stadiums that's not actually in outside the city, it's in the city itself, which means the whole area comes alive on match days, which is great to see. With a capacity of about 25,500, so under 26,000, but a little bit bigger than the average MLS stadium, it's just something that adds to the atmosphere of the city, and it does feel super intimate, and it makes it really loud when the fans get loud there. Fun fact though, Exploria Stadium was one of the first MLS stadiums to be designed with a safe standing section for fans, and so that one's called the Purple Wall. So there's a lot of teams out in the soccer world that have this. There's a couple in MLS, there's the ones overseas like Dortmund. They have the yellow wall. We'll get to some of that in a bit, but it's a safe standing area with a steep section behind the goal where the most passionate fans can come in and bring the noise. The stadium is also eco-friendly with features like solar panels, the water saving system. It's modern, but it doesn't lose that soccer-specific charm, and seriously, those views from the seats, there's always perfect sightlines anywhere you sit in the stadium. Plus, the stadium's location in downtown Orlando makes it easy to grab some pregame food or drinks before heading into match. It's a total vibe when you're there. Now for branding, the city's colors for Orlando Cities, their colors are purple, gold, and white. So purple, it's a nod to the royalty and power, and it kind of pops on their logo and on their jerseys. The logo, it has a lion, which makes sense given the whole Lion City theme. It's bold and it's kind of modern and it works well for them. There haven't been a ton of changes to the branding lately, but it's definitely become iconic in MLS. The purple jersey is instantly recognizable. So Miami has that pink one, and Portland Timbers have that. They have the green, or the Seattle Sounders have that kind of greenish color. And RSL Real Salt Lake, they have that maroon, that dark red color. Orlando City is known, and they're really recognizable in having that signature look on them with the purple color. Now, speaking of the vibes, let's talk about the culture of Orlando City SC. So the fans, definitely electric, and it starts with the purple wall I mentioned a second ago. This section isn't just loud, it's like a party for 90 minutes. These fans, they wave the flags, they chant nonstop, they have the coordinated displays, and it's really just kind of incredible to see. They're the heartbeat of the stadium, and you can feel the energy no matter where you're sitting. One of the coolest traditions, though, is the Lions Roar. Before every home match, the crowd comes together for this booming chant that echoes through the stadium. It's like a battle cry. Everyone gets all hyped up, and you'll see a sea of purple scarves raised high during the matches. And it's kind of neat to see when the whole stadium gets in sync. So the Orlando fans have the sense of humor and creativity. You'll spot some quirky costumes in the stands too. People do the thing where they dress up like lions. So if you're watching the Las Vegas Raiders play or Chicago Bears play, you see people dressed up in some pretty crazy costumes, or Minnesota Vikings. They kind of do the same thing here. People dressed up as lions, wizards, or even random theme park inspired outfits. It's all part of the fun. It shows how much the team and the community kind of blend in together. Another thing that stands out, though, is how welcoming the fan base is. So whether you're a lifelong supporter or it's your first match, feel like you're part of it. Like, the tailgates are really engaging, the chants, the camaraderie. It's all a part of what makes Orlando such a special club. Now, being from Florida, they do have some rivalries. So one of the biggest rivalries is with Atlanta United. This one's become pretty intense over the years, and you can expect a lot of drama whenever those two meet. They're both teams that are growing rapidly, so these matchups are often about positioning in the East, and they really shape the season. Another rivalry is with Inter Miami. So obviously, being from Florida, there's going to be that kind of Florida clash. Both teams are in Florida, so the state pride is definitely on the line in those games. It's not as big as maybe OSU and U of M rivalry, but they still get pretty intense. And Orlando fans are always fired up with these rivalries when they come to town and play each other on their home field. You can bet that these games will be circled on both teams' calendars. So looking ahead at 2025, Orlando City's got a lot to be excited about, with Perea, their head coach, at the helm, doing his thing, continuing to develop the team. And some really talented players. They'll definitely be pushing for a strong playoff position. The focus for 2025 will probably be on maintaining that attacking edge while making sure the defense is really solid. They've got a good mix of experience and youth, and if they can get the balance right, they'll really go far doing just that. Plus, they're growing rival in the East, and they got that clash with Atlanta and Miami. It's going to be a fun season to watch with them. So yeah, Orlando City, great fans, great atmosphere, and a team that's really looking forward to a great 2025 season. So keep an eye on them. It's going to be an exciting year for Orlando City FC. All right, now let's drive on up to Charlotte FC, one of the newest teams to Major League Soccer. These guys are fresh to the league, but they're already making waves. So they were founded in 2019, by 2022, they hit the pitch in their inaugural season, starting a new franchise. And it's never easy, but Charlotte FC is already showing that they belong. Now, Charlotte, North Carolina, it's a city that's really on the rise. You've got the booming business scene, and of course the sports culture that's getting stronger every year. Adding an MLS team to the mix was such a smart move because it tapped into this incredible energy in the community. So Charlotte FC represents more than just a soccer team. They're a symbol of the city's growth and ambition. For leadership, Charlotte's head coach for 2025 season is Christian Latanzio. He took over in 2022, and he's known for playing, so he took over at the beginning, but he's known for playing an attacking style of soccer, really going after the opponent with, this pace and precision. They've been improving each year, and under Latanzio's guidance, I think they'll go really far in 2025. The ownership behind Charlotte FC now, that's David Tepper, who owns the NFL's Carolina Panthers. So two clubs in the sports world that this owner owns. He has Charlotte FC, and then he has the Carolina Panthers. He's one of the wealthiest owners in the country. He's been very invested in making Charlotte FC a serious contender in the MLS. They've poured a lot of resources into the team and, pushing for bigger things in the coming years. When it comes to star players, Charlotte's definitely got a few really exciting talents. One of the biggest names on the roster is Carlos Widerski. He's a Polish international. He's made an impact with his technical skills and creativity. He's one of the key attacking threats for Charlotte, and He'll definitely be crucial for them moving forward, but there's also Brant Bronico in the midfield. He's known for his work rate and his ability to disrupt the opponent's attack. These players, along with the others, give Charlotte FC a solid core to build around for 2025. Now, one of my favorite things to talk about always is where do they call home? So Charlotte FC, it's Bank of America Stadium. This place is pretty massive. It actually is the stadium for the Carolina Panthers. So they share the NFL stadium with them, and that capacity is 74,000. For soccer games, though, they scale it down to create that more intimate atmosphere, which really works well. One of the cool things about Bank of America Stadium is how they've adopted it for soccer. So the sightlines are really good, they're excellent, and the team has invested in creating a matchday experience. So the energy when Charlotte FC plays is really unreal. They've got thousands of fans waving flags, the chanting, creating the electric vibe that really fills the stadium. And don't forget the location. It's another one that is right downtown in the city that they're named after, so downtown Charlotte. That means you can grab a bite to eat, hit up the brewery, or just enjoy the city's vibe before heading to the match. On game days, the streets are buzzing with fans, decked out with the mint green, black, white. It's like the whole city just comes alive for the soccer match. And speaking of the colors now for branding, Charlotte FC, their colors are mint green, black, and white, which gives them a fresh, modern look. The mint green is a bit different from what you see in most MLS teams, and it really sets them apart. The logo's got this cool crown design. It's a nod to the Queen City, nickname for Charlotte. It's clean, bold, and really represents the city's growth and ambition. There haven't been any huge updates to their branding recently, but they've definitely made their mark with this unique look. Now, let's get into Charlotte, what makes them special in their fan culture. That the heart of it is the Mint City Collective. So Charlotte's known for being the Mint City or Queen City, and they have that mint color. But at the heart of it all is the Mint City Collective, the fan group. So these fans bring the passion every single game. They're all about creating fun, including their atmosphere, whether it's pre-game tailgates, coordinated chants, or colorful tifo displays. The Mint City Collective knows how to bring the party. And one of the things I love about the fan base here is you'll see the flags and banners and scarves that reflects the city's identity, but also some fun, quirky touches that makes every game feel unique. And their chants, they're loud, catchy, nonstop, creating an intimidating environment for all the visiting teams. Another cool tradition is the way the fans embrace the Queen City nickname. So you'll see the crown motifs everywhere, from fan gear to tifo displays. It's a subtle reminder of how Charlotte FC is deeply connected to the city's history and pride. So now when it comes to rivalries, Charlotte FC's main rivals are Atlanta United and Orlando City. These teams are like the southeast region, so there's always that geographic pride on the line. Atlanta, not too far away, and the Charlotte have had some really heated games already, and the team is continuing to grow these rivalries, and will probably get even more intense in 2025. Over time, the rivalries always get a little bit more intense, and it would be good to see some of the East Coast, West Coast rivalries form too. These matches, though, they're always a must-watch, and they'll shape how Charlotte FC's season unfolds. So now looking ahead to 2025, the expectations for Charlotte FC are pretty high. They've got a solid roster, and with key players like Swiderski leading the attack, they'll be looking to build on some momentum from their earlier seasons. A key focus will be improving their defense and ensuring consistency throughout the year. If they can tighten up those areas and keep the attacking play fluid, they'll go really far doing just that. They've got the foundation, so it's just about taking the next step. In short, Charlotte FC is a team with a lot of promise, great fans, and a bright future ahead. 2025 is shaping up to be a big year for them, and definitely exciting to see what they can do. All right, let's take a quick 7-hour drive east to check out Nashville SC, a club that's been making some serious noise in MLS in just a few short years. So they joined in 2020, and they're still writing the first chapters of their story, but wow, they have come a long way. Now, Nashville, Tennessee, it's a city that really obviously doesn't need any introduction. It's known as Music City. It's a cultural hub with a vibe that's electric and uniquely its own. When Nashville SC came on the scene, it felt like the perfect fit. The city really embraced the club, and the energy from the fans is incredible. You can tell they've made soccer a big part of their community, and it just keeps growing. At the helm in 2025, you got Gary Smith. He's the head coach for the season. If you've been following Nashville SC, you know this guy's been with the team since the beginning. Taking charge back in 2018, Smith is all about tactical discipline. He builds a team from the back, focusing on defensive solidity, while still finding ways to hurt opponents on the counter. He's the kind of coach who knows how to grind out results, and that approach has really solidified Nashville's place as a tough team to face. Backing the club is, from the ownership side now, is John Ingram, a businessman with a true love for the beautiful game. He's been instrumental in building not just the team, but the soccer culture in Nashville. Under his leadership, they've invested heavily in infrastructure, talent, and fan engagement. Ingram's vision for the future here's clear. Nashville SC isn't just here to compete, they're here to become a staple and one of the best clubs in the MLS. Awesome to see. When it comes to star power, the first two names that stand out to me are you have Hani Mukhtar. This guy's pure magic on the pitch. Mukhtar is the engine of Nashville's attack, known for his creativity, vision, and ability to deliver in clutch moments. He's consistently been one of the league's top attacking threats, and every single time he gets the ball, something special could really happen. Then on the other side, you have Walker Zimmerman. He's the captain of the defense. Always like seeing the defenseman as the captain of the team. This guy is a rock of the back. He's a two-time MLS Defender of the Year, so he brings a lot of credibility and a leader on the field, and the kind of player you want when the pressure's on. Between Mukhtar's brilliance in attack and Zimmerman's leadership in defense, Nashville SC really has a spine that's as solid as they come. Now, where Nashville does play, so they play their home games at Geodis Park. Opened in 2022, it's one of the newer soccer-specific stadiums in MLS. It's absolutely gorgeous. With a capacity of 30,000, one of the biggest stadiums in MLS. It's the largest soccer-specific stadium in the league. The design focuses on the fan experience with incredible sightlines and amenities that make every match feel like a really big event. The atmosphere at Geodis Park is something else. Nashville fans know how to bring some noise, and the energy at the stadium is electric. Whether it's the chants, the flags, the drums echoing through the stands, you can feel how much the team means to the city. Now, when it comes to branding, Nashville SC's colors are gold, navy, which gives them a classy, energetic vibe. The logo's got this pretty unique golden fiddle and the Nashville skyline in the background, which is a nod to the city's music scene. So they have to have that. It's got to have that music connection, but it really still feels like a professional soccer club's. And they haven't really updated any of the branding recently, but it's one of those logos that's pretty iconic already, pretty Nashville. Now, speaking of the Nashville fans, the supporters club, the Nashville SC supporters culture, is led by groups like the Ferry Grounds Army. They're loud, passionate, and fully dedicated to making Geodis Park a fortress. One of their signature traditions is singing the national anthem before the matches. It's not just a performance, it's a moment that kind of unites the crowd and sets this tone for the game. But they don't just stop there. The Fairgrounds Army brings flags, banners, and chants that reflect Nashville's rich musical heritage and community pride. They've created an environment that's both welcoming and intimidating. Welcoming for their own, intimidating for the opposition. Now, in terms of rivalries, Nashville SC, they have some budding rivalries with Atlanta. Everyone's kind of picking on Atlanta these days. These two teams are like just a few hours apart from each other, and every time they meet, the stakes feel really, really high. Nashville fans really get into the team matches, and it's clear that there's some animosity between the two teams. They'll be looking to make a real mark on Atlanta this season and some other clubs in the regional area, probably like Chicago, Columbus, Cincinnati. Now, looking ahead at 2025, the expectations for Nashville SC, they're definitely high. With players like Mukhtar and in the attack and Zimmerman anchoring the defense, they're in a strong position to make some serious pushes in the playoff and maybe even challenge for the top spots. One key area to focus on will be getting more attacking options around Mukhtar, because the teams will start to doubling up on him and double teaming him, so they'll need other players to step up. If they can balance that out, they'll go really far doing that. Overall, though, Nashville SC, they've got a really great foundation, a passionate fan base, and a bright future ahead. They'll be looking to build on their success and continuing to grow in one of the league's top teams in 2025. All right, let's head on now to Georgia and talk about Atlanta United. That club that has honestly set the bar high in the MLS since bursting onto the scene. If you followed MLS for any amount of time, you know that Atlanta, it's a name that comes up whenever you're talking about the ambitious teams or electric atmospheres and big accomplishments. So the club was founded back in 2014, so they've been around for a little while. But here's the kicker, they didn't start playing until 2017. And that's the first season they were immediately made big waves in the playoffs. Right out of the gate. Then in just their second season in 2018, they actually won the MLS Cup. So in a really short amount of time, they've accomplished really great things. I mean, talk about a dream start. Since then, Atlanta United has been one of the most talked about clubs in the league. So they built a reputation for playing high-octane attacking soccer and consistently been a team that other clubs look up to or frankly want to beat. The city of Atlanta plays a big part in this. It's such a vibrant place, a hub for music, culture, sports, and Atlanta United has absolutely embraced that energy. They become a central part of the community, and the fans, we'll get to them, but let's just say that they play a huge role in making Atlanta United one of the league's premier clubs. Now, for leadership, Atlanta United's head coach for 2025 is Gonzalo Pineda. He took over in 2021, and he's been working to build a squad that can compete at the highest level. Pineda is known for his tactical approach, focusing on balancing a style of play. He's got a lot of experience both as a player and as a coach, and he's helped shape Atlanta's identity, a dynamic attacking team. Under Pineda, Atlanta has really been focused on tightening up defensively while still pushing forward, which is going to help him in 2025. As for the ownership side, the club is owned by Arthur Blank. He's a big name in the world of sports. He's also the owner of Atlanta Falcons, so another one of those owners who owns an MLS team and an NFL team. He's really invested heavily in the team, and it shows. The ownership has been super committed to creating a winning culture in Atlanta, which has paid off big with their success. When it comes to star players now, Atlanta has no shortage of talent. One of the biggest stars is Thiago Almada. He's been an attacking midfielder who's been a real game changer for Atlanta since he joined. Almada is super creative and can pick out passes that most players wouldn't even think of. Another big name is Giorgio Giacomakis. He's the striker for the team. He's known for his physicality and his ability to finish in the box, so he's always a threat. These two, along with some other key players, make Atlanta one of the most dangerous attacking teams in the league. Moving on over now to the stadium. So Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that's the stadium that they play in, and the place is incredible. It's right at the heart of downtown Atlanta, and it's easily one of the most impressive venues in Major League Soccer. And honestly, in North American sports as a whole, the stadium can seat over 40,000 people for soccer matches, and when Atlanta United is playing, that place is really rocking. One of the coolest features is the retractable roof. It opens and closes like a pinwheel of light, and when it's fully open, you can see the sky above, which is unique design, and it really adds to the atmosphere. And the giant Halo video board, it's a 360-degree screen that circles the top of the stadium, giving fans a clear view of replays and the highlights and everything, no matter where you're sitting. What I love, though, about Mercedes-Benz Stadium is how it was built with the fans in mind. You got the affordable food and drink options, which you don't see often at big venues, and the seating design ensures a great sightline no matter where you're sitting at. So combine all that with the energy and the crowd, and you got some really great stadium experiences, second to none. Now, in terms of branding, Atlanta United's colors are like a mix of red, black, and gold, which gives them a really bold and powerful look. The logo has this really cool circular design with the A in the middle of it for Atlanta, obviously. And it symbolizes kind of the city's energy. They haven't really done any major branding changes lately, but the logo colors still really work well for them, and it's a really recognizable logo for Atlanta. So you see that A in the middle and those colors, it's very Atlanta. Now, one of my favorite parts about the Atlanta United team and the club and the culture is the fan. Atlanta United supporters have earned a reputation as some of the loudest, most passionate fans in MLS, and they've been this way from the start. The supporter section, often referred to as the Five Stripes, is a nonstop party. One of the most iconic chants is the ATL, and trust me, when you hear the entire stadium yelling at that in unison, it's pretty incredible. Another cool tradition is the Golden Spike ceremony. Before every home match, they bring out this massive golden railroad spike. It's a nod to Atlanta's history as a railroad hub. So a special guest gets to hammer into the platform where the crowd goes wild. After the game, the players sign the spike and it becomes a part of the club's lore. You also got the Terminus Legion, one of the largest supporter groups who organizes tailgates, does all the displays, and they also do charity events. They're not just about supporting the team on match day. They've been about building the community, and it's working. Atlanta United has cultivated a culture that's inclusive, vibrant, and most importantly, it's just a lot of fun. So for the rivalries, Atlanta United's biggest one is with Orlando City. Talked about them a few minutes ago. This is a fierce rivalry, and it's been growing ever since both teams joined the league. The matches between the two are always like this, really intense and a lot of fun and a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. There's a lot of history between the fans too. Always highly anticipated matchup, and these rivalries can really shape a team's season. And Atlanta will be aiming to make and keeping track and keeping an eye on Orlando. Looking ahead to 2025, Atlanta United is definitely aiming to get back on top. With players like Almada leading the charge, they'll be looking to compete for another MLS Cup. They've had some issues in the back in recent years. If they can tighten things up there while still maintaining their attacking prowess, they'll go really far. Overall, though, Atlanta United is the team with a ton of potential, passionate fan base, a coach who knows what's best for the players. They're going to be a force to reckon with in 2025, and I'm sure we'll see them competing at the top. All right, now we're going to take a little detour. We're going to head on up to Canada, the true North, strong, and free. We'll talk about Toronto FC first. We already talked about the Vancouver Whitecaps, but they're way out west. Now we're going to talk about Toronto. And let's be honest, when you think about Canadian soccer success, Toronto FC is right there at the top of the list. So Toronto FC, or TFC, got their start in 2007. Now, why they might not go back to the very beginning of MLS, they've built a legacy that's really hard to ignore. Toronto itself is a city buzzing with energy. It's got a global hub for culture, sports, and some of the best food you'll ever eat. It's no surprise that TFC embodies that same dynamic vibe. One of the highlights of their history is that they had their cup in 2017. So they won the MLS Cup in 2017. It wasn't just a win, though. It was the season where Toronto dominated from start to finish, completing their first domestic treble in MLS history. That's the Supporter Shield, Canadian Championship Cup, and MLS Cup. So winning 3 gives them that treble. Something that kind of a tradition that they pulled over from Europe when you win 3 major cups, but they won theirs. So they had the Supporter Shield, Canadian Championship, and MLS Cup all in 1 year. So that's setting the bar high, and that wasn't that long ago. That was back in 2017. Now, when it comes to the leadership side of things, Toronto FC, their head coach in 25 will be John Herdman. He's been really successful with the Canadian national team, so there's a lot of excitement around him stepping up and leading Toronto. He's known for his tactical flexibility. He's all about building that team, and it really works together. He knows how to break it down and break down plays with a lot of intensity. Under Herdman, Toronto will be aiming to build on their success and really push for another championship. Now, Toronto FC is owned by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the same group behind Toronto Raptors, Toronto Maple Leafs, and now they have Toronto FC. So you have your hockey team, your basketball team, and now your soccer team. But they're super committed to bring success to all their teams, and that's really happened with Toronto FC, as mentioned before. They have the resources they need to compete at the highest level. Now, if we're talking players, Toronto FC has some real talent. One of the biggest stars is Lorenzo Insigne. He's one of the most talented attacking players in the MLS. Super creative, great with the ball on his feet, and he can change the game with a single pass or shot. Another key player to watch is Federico Bernardeschi. He's an attacking midfielder he's a real playmaker, and together with those two, they form one of the most dangerous attacking partnerships in the league. If these two are really firing, Toronto FC will be a serious threat. Moving on over now to the stadium. So the stadium where the magic happens for them is at BMO Field, located right on the waterfront in downtown Toronto. This stadium has the charm that's hard to beat. It's got that open air design, makes you feel like you're really connected to the city. And when the lake breezes kick in, you're in Toronto. So it means Canada, so it can get kind of cold. But anyway, the stadium holds 30,000 fans, and trust me, those seats are filled. It feels way more than that. The fans are so close to the action that the energy from the stand really spills onto the pitch. And let's not forget about the snowy games. You're going to have that. Like I said, we're in Canada now. If you ever seen a match at BMO Field in the early spring or late fall, the weather is a part of the experience. So it's not just a stadium. It's a fortress for the fans that make it feel like a second home for the team. Now, talking about their logo, their branding, Toronto FC has one of the most iconic looks, I think, in the MLS. Their colors so it's red, black, and white, which gives them a really bold and strong presence. The logo has this simple, clean design with the TFC initials and a crown on top, symbolizing the Kings of Toronto soccer, I guess. They haven't done any major updates in the branding recently, but the look is still strong and it's recognizable as ever. Speaking of the fans, Toronto FC supporters are some of the most passionate in the league. They have the Red Patch Boys. It's one of their main supporter groups, the Red Patch Boys. They're always full voice. You'll see them waving massive flags, drumming, leading chants, and the entire stadium gets on their feet. One of the coolest pre-match traditions is the Tifo displays. These are huge hand-painted banners that showcase everything from the club pride to some lighthearted jabs at their rivals. And then there's the singing of O Canada. Again, we're in Canada, so they sing O Canada. When the whole stadium belts it out, it kind of is neat to see. It's neat to see one of the Canadian clubs do that, or all the Canadian clubs do that. But it's not just about what happens inside the stadium. TFC fans are also known for their community. They organize tailgates, they do away day trips. It really brings everyone together. So whether rain or snow or sunshine, they show up, or snow, and their love for the club really runs deep. So for rivalries, they're in Canada, so they have that Canadian Cup, but obviously Toronto's one of their biggest, or probably their biggest one. Their rivalry is with Montreal. So Toronto's biggest rivalry with Montreal. This rivalry is all about Canadian clubs battling it out. It's intense, and the matches between the two are always packed with emotion. The competition between Toronto and Montreal brings the best of both teams. And it's always a key fixture. Toronto also has a rivalry with Vancouver Whitecaps, which adds to the drama whenever all these Canadian teams meet. And it's really neat to see some of the East versus West, and we kind of need to get a little bit more of that further down south in the U.S. teams in the MLS, the East versus West matchups. So looking ahead at 2025, Toronto FC is going to be really pushing for a title. With the key players that they have up top, they've got an attacking firepower. If they can tighten things up defensively, they have the potential to go really, really far. They'll need to stay healthy like all teams, get some consistency throughout the season, but with the experience of their players and leadership of John Herdman, their head coach, they've got a really great shot. There's also a chance that we could see some exciting new signings or young players stepping up, which always makes them stronger. All in all, Toronto FC is a team with a ton of potential. They've got talent, support, and a drive to make 2025 a really, really special year. If they stay focused and play to their strengths, they could definitely be one of the top contenders in MLS in 2025. Now we've made it to the end. We've covered 29 of the 30 teams in Major League Soccer, and there's just one left. We're staying in Canada for this one too. Let's dive into CF Montreal, a team with a rich history and exciting fan culture. So CF Montreal, they were founded back in 2012. Sure, they're one of the younger MLS teams, but they've already made a big impact. In 2015, they became the first Canadian team to reach the CONCACAF Champions League final, showcasing their potential on the international stage. They've also claimed the Canadian Championship multiple times, cementing their place as one of the top clubs in the country. Based in Montreal, Quebec, they've embodied the city's bilingual multicultural spirit. Montreal itself is one of Canada's most dynamic cities, a place where art, culture, and sport really thrive together. Soccer fans here are incredibly dedicated, creating vibrant and growing soccer culture, which feels both local and global at the same time. Now looking into the leadership and ownership, leading CF Montreal in 2025 is head coach Hernan Losada. Known for his high-energy attacking style, Losada emphasizes quick transitions and pressing, making Montreal a team that's exciting to watch. Before this, he had a stint at DC United and is now looking to take CF Montreal to the next level. The club is owned by Group Impact, that's group with an E on the end, a Montreal-based company, a group deeply committed to the team's growth. They've been instrumental in fostering a strong connection between the club and the local community, helping elevate CF Montreal's presence in both the league and the city. So some of Montreal's key players, they have some really great players who are crucial for their success. First up, there's Rommel Quioto, the forward with blazing speed and constant threat on counterattack and a proven finisher. Then you have Ismail Kone, a dynamic young midfielder. He's a tremendous potential there. He's got skill and vision and to control games at the center of the pitch. And then you got Zachary Brault-Gillard, a versatile right back, strong defensively and dangerous going forward, an essential player for both attack and defense. So Montreal, they play their home games at Saputo Stadium, nestled in the heart of Montreal's Olympic Park. The stadium has a capacity of 20,000, offers an intimate and immersive soccer experience. The stadium's design features beautiful sightlines, bringing fans close to the action, and the open-air field lets energy flow. It's surrounded by lush greenery, creating a picturesque setting for soccer. Whether it's a packed derby match or a warm summer evening, Saputo Stadium always delivers an unforgettable atmosphere. Now, Montreal's, their branding, it reflects the city's unique identity. So their jersey colors are blue, black, and white. They're sleek and modern, exuding confidence and style. The logo features this minimalistic kind of fleur-de-lis. It represents Montreal's French heritage while also symbolizing resilience and pride. It's a design that stands out and honoring the city while remaining fresh and recognizable in the league. The culture surrounding CF Montreal is one of passion and pride. Their supporter groups include La Troupe, that's a troupe with an E on the end, and Montreal Ultras. Ultras kind of like the French Ultras over in the Paris Saint-Germain, at the heartbeat of the fan base. These groups create an electrifying matchday experience, and chants like Allez Montreal echoing throughout the stadium. One of the most iconic traditions is the pre-match TIFO displays, where the fans unveil massive banners to rally the team and intimidate opponents. Beyond the games, though, the supporters are really engaged in year-round organizing community events, fundraiser, and doing the away game trips with their dedication to the team. Now, as mentioned in the last segment, they have rivalries, of course, and the biggest one they have is with Toronto FC, not that far away from them. It's known as the Canadian Classique. It's not just about soccer, it's about pride, culture, and history. Matches between these two teams are high stakes, full of drama, and an absolute must-watch for any fan. While Toronto FC is the main rival for Montreal, Montreal also has a heated matchup with other MLS teams, but make no mistake, the Canadian Derby is one of the fans really like to watch and get into. Now, looking ahead for the 2025 season, Montreal is definitely a team to watch. With Hernan Losada at the helm, they'll likely stick to their exciting high-pressure style of play. The combination of experienced players like Kyoto and emerging talents like Hone give them a balanced and dangerous squad. If they can stay healthy and make a few key signings, CF Montreal has the potential to challenge for another playoff spot or make an even deeper run. Their fan base and city are behind them, and the pieces are in place for a really thrilling season. Alright, soccer fans, that's a wrap up on our journey through all 30 MLS teams. Thanks for sticking with me as we explore the league, the incredible clubs, and their rich histories. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com with your questions or comments. Don't forget to check out the rest of the series with a deep dive into every team. Until next time, we'll see you next time on the pitch.